It's really hard to smell these without eating these, by the way. I will eat them later, but hi everyone. Today we're going to be continuing with my fragrance masterclass, where I teach you guys how to smell like a perfumer would. And today we're going to be smelling pineapple, passion fruit, and mango. So if you can get your hands on those fruits and you want to smell along, I think that's the best way to do this. If not, just, keep it in the back of your head for next time you encounter a passion fruit, mango, or pineapple in the wild. So starting with pineapple. So with pineapple, we have something here that is juicy and fresh, but also very sweet, which is very interesting. I think that juiciness keeps the sweetness from being too cloying. And it's the fact that there's also quite a bit of green notes. So when we have this green plus sweet plus juicy, we actually can get something that's a little bit similar to a strawberry. And that was something that was a big learning from my time in perfumery school, that actually some pineapples, especially when they're very ripe, have these facets of the strawberry because there is something green. What I think is really interesting is that there actually is some overlap in the compounds that we smell here with the compounds that we smell in mango. So I have a slice here because the skin and the pulp of the mango both smell. It's actually not a huge difference. I noticed that in, how do I explain, in fragrance marketing, they'll be like mango skin instead of the mango pulp. But when I'm smelling it here today, if anything, the skin is more lactonic smelling than the pulp, which is very interesting. And this might not be the case for every mango, but in this situation, yes. And so the fruity, juicy part of the pineapple, we actually see some of it in the mango. And the same way we work through the citruses when we're creating a fragrances, we do this with a tropical fruit. There are definitely some volatile organic compounds. Again, these are just the compounds that you smell that are being emitted naturally from natural materials. There are some in common here. What's separating the smells between these two, and of course it seems obvious, right? You might be tempted to say, well, of course I can tell the difference between a pineapple and a mango. But then how would you describe it? Because you still have a juiciness, you still have the tropicality, you still have those sulfur compounds existing in both of them. They're also both still a little bit green. But if you want to talk about the differences, is that here you get something much milkier. So there are those lactone compounds that we're smelling in the mango that we don't get at all in the pineapple. The pineapple, again, is more of this watery, juicy, and here with those lactones, you get the juicy complemented by the milky. And I think that's also what makes mango so loved and so addictive. So now moving on to passion fruit, and passion fruit is going to be kind of the most tropical, also meaning a bit the stinkiest. I love a stinky fruit. I'm a big fan of durian. But what makes it complicated when you're making a perfume with tropical fruit is to really find that balance between the addictive juiciness and the stinkiness, because the juiciness is also coming from those sulfur compounds, as is the stinkiness. You just have to know how not to push it too far. So we have our passion fruit here. The skin is not really going to smell. We're really going to be smelling the pulp inside. It's almost, the stinky part is almost something that smells a bit like gasoline. But sorry, not petrol. So a bit more like if you have not an electric stove, but one that uses, I don't know if it's propane, kind of like cooking gas. Because again, you see that with dimethyl sulfide, it has a very similar smell, and that's just one of the volatile organic compounds that we see naturally occurring in a lot of fruits, like our passion fruit here. If you are familiar with the black currant bud, it's very common in France, but less seen in the States. You're getting a lot of those same cassis black currant bud notes here in the passion fruit. And maybe if you're not familiar with the actual fruit, if you've ever had a drink called a Kir Royale or creme de cassis, they're liquors with this note that are more commonly found than the actual fruit. And something I was confused by, blackcurrant bud doesn't smell anything like a blackberry. So they're not akin to each other in any way. So it's really more blackcurrant bud that you're smelling here. And that's because, again, blackcurrant bud has a lot of oxane and these sulfuric compounds, as well as the passion fruit. So yes, I hope this helped you understand the olfactive profiles of tropical fruits a bit better. And I hope to see you all in the next video. See you. Bye, everyone.